Our presenter today is April Braswell, Distinguished Toastmaster. April is currently serving as the Founders District Club Growth Director and previously served as the 2022-2024 Division North Director. Today, you will discover how to transform your Toastmasters Club into a vibrant, growing community with this engaging membership building workshop. Whether you are a club officer or club member, you'll learn proven strategies to find new people beyond your existing network to invite to your club, to attract new members, all while retaining our current members, which is important. You will gain actionable insights into effective guest experiences, powerful outreach techniques, and ways to showcase the unique value of Toastmasters, resulting in brand new members in your club. By the end of this workshop, you'll walk away with fresh ideas, practical tools, and the confidence to inspire membership growth while strengthening your club's impact. Let's unlock the secrets of sustained success and create a lasting legacy for your club. I hope you're as excited as I am, so let's get this ball game started. Please help me welcome Founders District Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, April Braswell.
Thank you so much, everyone. And then Donna, I got the folks before already. You're the only member I don't yet know for your club, and you're welcome to unmute yourself for this because it's just the beginning part was that is your club virtual only, hybrid, or in person, or do you have more than one club and it's a variety?
April, were you talking to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Our club meets twice a month in person and twice a month via Zoom.
It's a variation of hybrid. Thank you so much. Which I just so I know for the club, a lot of what I'm presenting today is a little more targeted around the in-person, because of course Julie Murphy's workshop, which is just afterwards, is a little more around social media promotion. I'm sure more than that too, but it was just so that we're two different workshops. And I popped in the chat. This is a fun pop quiz. Julie, you can't answer. Was because she already knows. Whose job is it to invite visitors? Is it only the VPPR's job? Right. Amber, could you please unmute and give your answer?
It is everyone's job.
Thank you. I popped in the chat a Toastmaster promise. Now, when I first joined in Toastmasters, I did not know this. My club didn't use the Toastmasters promise, but it was like, you're supposed to have already known it. I'm like, I think it's on the back of our membership application. If you didn't keep it and you don't review it every week, then you're not going to see it. So I encourage clubs, and you can do this whether you're virtual or in person, was you might start just softly bringing it back into your club culture by putting the Toastmaster promise, which I put there, and you just copy and paste it, onto the back page of your meeting agenda. They just start to see it. And then if your club meets twice a month, maybe at both meetings, it's read aloud after the club mission. And if your club meets weekly, you might just do it the first and this twice a month versus every meeting, so that members are hearing it, and then also rotate who reads it. Because when we read something, when we utter the words out loud in front of witnesses, this is law of influence and persuasion, was we are more likely to be congruent with what we say we're going to do. It doesn't mean we're going to do it 100%, but our brain wants to be congruent with that. So it's a very soft way to bring it to where your members start to hear that and think about it. And here is, and so the beginning part of this workshop, it is a little bit on the PowerPoint side, and you're going to be seeing slides, whereas once we get into it is more not just strategies at a high level, but really granular. Here's a tool you can directly use in your club. And let me actually, did I pop this in? I did not. Let me stop share for a moment. So I put these things into the chat. Yeah, okay, I can't put that much in. Just sorry, I'm sharing a lot of resources, so I had a feeling it was not going to let me share everything. It's going to have to be in multiples. Oh dear. Okay. David, I can't even let me undo this as you're able to, because I believe the one I sent you in email, I'll add the two other things at the very end. You'll need to break it into 2 or 3 blips in order to share it into the chat. Would you start doing that so that people have that? The main thing is I'm sharing a lot of resources in a Google Drive, and there will be a few places where you'll see me see Google Drive. And then when I mention things like the Toastmaster branded flyer, it's not only it is in the folder, I also cite the specific link to just that resource in the chat so that later when you're looking at the folder and you're like, oh my God, there's more than 5 things here, you can go directly to that resource. So that's why you'll see a little bit of redundancy there with what's in the chat or what will be in the chat. Thank you so much. And then back to here. So we want to be magnetic for membership. This is about supporting your clubs to bring in new visitors and grow your club. In particular, you'll hear me emphasize the word new in terms of for your DCP and for your club. Yes, there can be reactivated members, dual members, and we certainly do want to reach out to our members who maybe they stepped away for a while, they had a period of life where they needed to step away. We also want to specifically target brand new Toastmasters on a regular basis for our club's vitality. And that is, there we go. And then I love this quote: act as if it were impossible to fail. Your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference. So when we are thinking, I can't fail, it at least helps us to stretch with trying those new things where maybe we're a little uncomfortable trying them, just as we were with our first speech or perhaps our first table topic where it was new. Same as in inviting visitors, it might be new for you. Give it a shot anyway. Why recruit? Why bring in new members? More members means better meeting quality. 30 is the new 20. A larger pool of potential leaders, more fun, more energy is also more funds for your club if that's something that's pertinent. New faces, new ideas and speeches. It ensures more participation. When you have a 20-person club, that means that any given week when someone's busy, they have a work obligation, they have something where they can't attend that week, there's still a vibrant and full meeting because we have all those members. Additionally, it is normal, I remember hearing this at my very first club officer training, that over the course of the year that you can have an eight members you'll lose them. They move, they have a life circumstance, they need to step away, their whole schedule completely changes, they might need to transfer to a different club. And so we need to do this on a regular basis in order to have our club still be at a good number at the end of the year. It is already February. However, keep in mind that ideally you want to target adding 2 new members on average every month. So it isn't just, we're at May and now we need to add 8 new members. It's easier to add them in small handfuls throughout the year. High level. There are 3 wonderful recognitions within Toastmasters, these initiatives for when you bring in 5 new members during this time period. What are we in? We're in the Talk Up Toastmasters one, which is February 1st through March 31st. You get extra recognition and celebration as a club when you do that. And then there's a little catch-up time at the end of the year with the Beat the Clock, which runs from May 1st through June 30th. I'm highly recommending that you aim to do this before the March 31st renewal time. So if one is like, wow, we got 8 new members, that's great. And if you fell a little bit short, you can do things again because we often learn from our first iteration of something that we attempt. And after we do it, we learn so much and know how we can do it better. That wonderful lessons learned project. Do it again in April or May, and you can hit your numbers then easily before the end of the Toastmaster year. This is all the high level slides. And then this is high level. We'll be getting more granular in a moment, but this is simply, and then also know this whole slide deck, the PDF download of it is in the Google folder. So you do have access to review things later. You don't have to take screenshots. Certainly look around for the social groups, the civic groups, the service clubs who are maybe physically near you. And if you're one where you're meeting virtually, be aware of if some of your members are elsewhere, was have them take a look around for their neighbor and neighboring organizations for people they can invite. When I say people from your neighborhood, that can be where you live residentially, or if you're a business club and you're meeting at a corporate place, look also for your business neighbors. Maybe there are other people in the same building as you, or maybe they're in the office complex where you are. Those are people you can be inviting. And then, of course, people you know from what you've seen in social media, maybe on their LinkedIn, their Instagram, their Facebook, where you can see, like I do, where you can see they're posting positivity things around personal growth. Those are people who could be interested in Toastmasters, and you certainly want to connect with them. And then at a high level, Julie, I just heard you talking about this the other day. She used a slightly different phrase, but this is absolutely something you want to think about is who would our club in particular appeal to? We use different phrases for what this is, our unique selling proposition. Another phrase I've heard is we call it tip, target, ideal prospect. I give 2 case studies in a few minutes of just 2 specific clubs, and you'll see some of the differences between the two. Know your club. Who do you appeal to? If you're meeting after work in the evening at 7 p.m., that can be great for folks who are working where they're like, finally I get to do this. But if those are people, I used to live in Las Vegas, if they're people who work in the evening, you're not going to appeal to them. People who are teachers, they often cannot do a weekday evening, but you're a weekend club. Teachers and other people who have those full work days, you really can appeal to them. Know your club's neighbors. I did just touch on this. What businesses and organizations are nearby? I get a little more specific for one of the clubs in particular. And if you don't know and you're a little shy on who it is, do this as a practice for your first time. You don't even have to talk to any of them. Just your first time, do a walk around. Come to your club meeting maybe an extra 30 minutes early at the next meeting, ideally once a little bit of daylight, was take a look around, drive around just a little bit, those 2 or 3 blocks. You can also zoom in with Google Maps and kind of scroll around and see who's nearby you. But literally, I find when we are walking around or driving around in those few blocks right near where we meet, you will see signs, you will see business signs, you'll just see more things than what you'll be able to perceive doing it through Google, but you can do it either way. I'm saying this for folks who are shy, and trust me, I'm shy doing this the first time too, was you can then capture their names, go do a little research at Google for what those businesses are if you want to, and just to build your feeling a little more comfortable for who are these places, whose door am I going to be knocking on? I want to know a little bit about them just so I feel comfortable. You can do that before you do a walk around with flyers. Also, start again, this is all gentle and slow and small, was empower each member to increase their visibility. Encourage them to use the Toastmasters branded flyer and have them at every meeting. I get more specific in the next few slides. And it's decide whose job it is to bring the physical printouts. I'm going to pretend on some numbers here. Your club has 15 members and you do meet in person at least once a month, and where the 15 members are all there. I'm just pretending they're all local. Was make sure to bring 50 printouts for the 15 members. So each member takes 3, 4, and the first time you do it, I'm using my Minnie Mouse voice. The first time they do it, they might barely take 1. Have it there, and there are always going to be the people like me who are a little more comfortable, been doing this for a while, where they're going to take more than the minimum, and we'll get more specific for how to encourage them to use the flyers, but get members in the habit of, I'm a member, I take some flyers too. I might only take two, but I take two because it's my responsibility also. Have them at every meeting when you're meeting in person. For those of you who are meeting virtually only, share the PDF into the chat. Encourage them still to either to email that, it might be more of a graphic that they share, or where they print it out and use it. The more steps that they have to do between taking it and giving it to someone, it won't happen, which is why I'm saying, and I mean obnoxiously, it's just anything new, we're just less likely to do unless fully equipped. So because they took two flyers, they are more likely to use at least one over the course of the week. Magnetize new members to your clubs with activity. This is both, I'm already pre-touching on what I know Julie will be doing, the activity that's in social media combined with the activity that's in person, all of that combined, you need both, helps to create that energy of visibility for your clubs. They might have seen something in social media and then they see the flyer at the Starbucks and it's like, oh, there's a Toastmasters club near me. I just saw that the other day on Instagram. You want both in order that members, the potential prospects, just start to see these things and ideally come to visit your club. Do use flyers and invite those home and building neighbors. High level, this whole idea, because this is, if we don't kind of go through some of the steps, sometimes we presuppose and we'll miss something and then there's a gap. So at the high level, someone becomes aware of Toastmasters. They saw it on social media. They heard about it from a friend. They have a family member who did it years ago, and suddenly they just see something that they just have that general awareness. And then they start to, maybe their boss suggested that they attend a club, or their college professor announced it and at one of the classes recently. They're just aware. Now they're starting to look. They're both going to do some searching online. The professor might have a list of a couple of clubs who are friendly to student visitors. Hint, hint, that's one of the things coming later. Do be aware of the community colleges in your area. Identify a few professors, the communication professors. Be in touch with them. Hi, we're a club who loves having student visitors. And then they've done their little bit of searching and they actually come and visit your club. And then once they become engaged, I put in becoming an officer. This is a slide deck from a previous training. We do want to bring our members in more deeply into the club, not 2 weeks after they join, but if you're a brand new club, guess what? Someone does become the officer. You might still be a brand new member and become an officer very soon. The more that a member is engaged in the club, the more that they're going to likely to retain. This is, oh, actually it's not saying this to, it was, this is supposed to have see the folder. One of the things you can request is your area director, your division director, or another person from district, that they come and deliver the Club Success Series project. It's a speech, finding new members. You become an advocate of this. You're sharing about it in your club. You can tell I'm that person in my clubs. You don't want the same person being the only one who's talking about it in your club. You want someone else to speak about it periodically too. That's when you can ask your area director or division director, come deliver this speech, and then they're going to hear it from different people in order for more of the members to become engaged with doing this. Okay, now we're getting into the more granular things. Can I move this? There we go. Open house. Now, this is one of those terms where I said that at the very top. Some clubs love open houses, some don't. Some may have had a bad experience with doing them in the past, especially during the Zoom era, when we didn't always know how to promote it well. We put on an open house and it went flat. We had no visitors and we only had one or two. That can happen. So I'm saying open house. Think of it in terms of a visitor event at a high level. For them to be really successful, you want not just, oh, hey, we're going to do an open house in 2 weeks. Because unless your club is just amazing at this already, we typically really need 6 weeks advance time to promote. If your club is only meeting twice a month, you absolutely need the 6 weeks. You might even need a little bit longer. The clubs who meet weekly, you can do it in 4 to 6 weeks or 4 to 5 weeks, because you're meeting every week and the members are doing each of the different pieces each week. Plan that visitor events sufficiently in advance for optimal promotion. And that's what I was saying, when you do them in too short a period of time, you get a low turnout, and then members feel deflated. They may not even say it, but you can tell from their reaction. And then they all come into that feeling of it doesn't work. And once that cements, it can be hard to motivate members to invite people in the future. I touch on this in another slide about we want to do the inviting repeatedly in order to experience success. It isn't just one invitation or one event. We need to do these things repeatedly. And then ideas for visitor events, I go a little more specific in the next few slides, was just think already of things your club is doing this month. Your club's speech contest. You don't have to make it an open house. Just think, okay, that's something we could promote for just a couple of weeks and maybe get a couple of visitors. So Amber's competing. Get your neighbor, ask your neighbor at your office, ask a friend at work, come support me, I'm competing. That's someone who could be a visitor. They may or may not join. Simply having visitors is the start. If you're a corporate club, find a company executive who could be a guest presenter, who could be a guest speaker, and honor them in some way. Give them a special recognition. Have them promote it within the company. They often have more purview to be able to do that. They can put it in the company newsletter. They will invite and promote to the managers. You will get great visibility in the company doing that. I recommend doing that at least twice a year. You might almost do that quarterly, depending on the size of your company. Let's say you're in a larger corporation, you have an executive do it. Next quarter, you might have someone who's a division head, and then another one at different times, so that it's always someone a little, not too frequent. Once a quarter is kind of the max. And so that it's a different person each time. They're likely to be promoting it and bringing in different visitors from within the company themselves, each of them bring in different people. Always celebrate your club's anniversary. Those are just like the high level ones every club can do. Okay. Here we go, in particular for the months ahead. Special events. I already mentioned that the big ones, February, March, April. Theme events, April. I'm sorry, February, a love theme. There's so many. You can go to ChatGPT and ask it to give you ideas. You can always go to Google and ask for occasions in February. In February, we're already in, so it's maybe it's not as much of a visitor event, but just start practicing this, starting to invite with the things for February. There's President's Day theme, and then March is really going to be stronger because you're going to have more time to promote it. Ideally, and I put this in little brackets there, this is a fantastic time to bring in brand new members because you're already in advance of the round 2 renewals. And so if they join in February or March, they're going to count for both this time as well as for the next time. Your club's like, we're so strong with members. It feels great at renewal time to already have that when you start into the month of April. There is International Women's Day. The whole month is International Women's Month. Women leader themes. St. Patrick's Day. There's the Persian New Year. There are a number of different occasions in March, depending on what your club is, its own temperament, and the makeup of your members. Pick a theme for your visitor event that fits well for your club. And then April, there's Easter. There's simply the start of spring. You can do different themes around April. You might be playful with tax day. And then I love this when I saw this theme was that International Fun at Work Day is a theme for one of the occasions in April. So I thought that was a great one for almost every club, whether you have retirees or you have people who are currently working, was everyone can still talk about what it was like at work or what we want work to be like for how we can make it more fun. Oh, bring in Toastmasters. It gives you a wonderful introduction to have your visitors then join your club so that they can increase their fun at work. More high level so that you see how these interconnect. We're doing social media, and I did get specific there because that box wasn't large enough to fit everything in. Do use Eventbrite. Craigslist, you might not think of as much. It takes a little more to set it up. These are all, and then of course, LinkedIn events. I like the places that are free. You can also do things at Nextdoor. Julie's already nodding. We like free. We like things that are free, where part of what that's doing is when someone Googles for Toastmasters Club in Huntington Beach, if you've set this up, and I say you, it may be your VPPR, it may be someone else, and you're not that role, was that member sets it up, was the ones that are reoccurring are the easiest ones to do, so that when someone does a search at Google, they're going to see your club listed at 3 or 4 places in Google page 1. Oh, there's that club again. Oh, there's that club again. And increase the likelihood they will visit your club. Traditional media, we literally have fewer physical newspapers here in Orange County, but it was cited there. There are, and I'm sorry, patch.com used to be one of my favorite places. You can't list it the same way anymore. So if you want to do a little more of a media, you might do it at LinkedIn and attend Julie's workshop later this afternoon for a little more specificity so that you're findable online. Speechcraft, it's a great idea. It's a high time commitment. Your club, if you're planning to do this, that's great. It's going to be part of what brings you new members. Just know it's a bigger project than you might realize when you hear of it as an idea. The personal invitation, word of mouth, is still the strongest way. And it does not have to be, oh, I knew this person really, really well who invited me. I'm gonna use like this thing, like it's a piece of paper, was the flyer that I hand you at Starbucks. That's word of mouth. It can simply be someone I've met and just had a little chit chat with while waiting in line at Starbucks, open house, the visitor event. And then certainly do use the Toastmasters branded resources. And because you are not a district person doing this for Founders District, your first few graphics in Canva, oh my God, you might have made a mistake and slightly messed up on the colors or the ratio of colors. The brand police are not going to come down on you. It's fine. Julie's laughing. No one's going to say anything horrible to you. I've seen people where they kind of use a little extra inspiration for with the graphics that they used for the Eventbrite listing, and I have not corrected them yet because I want them to continue doing it, and hopefully over time they will think to start using more of the Toastmasters branded images or graphics. However, just start where you are and start promoting. And we're at the next one. When you do the passive marketing, this is something where we tried it. I really like to emphasize there's a gap. There's a gap between some of the things that we do to promote the club and actually getting into the meeting. Each of these social media platforms functions differently and evolves over time. At Meetup years ago, simply the fact that you joined the group, you're like, oh my God, I'm attending that event next week because it was also new and exciting. Meetup has been around quite a long time now. Excuse me. And people will join a meetup. They're interested, but they may not be ready to come to attend your meeting yet. So if your club has its own meetup, There is one for Founders District. I recommend still that you aim to have one for your club if you can afford it. We tried Meetup and it didn't work because simply posting it and someone attending, there needs to be a piece in between. I literally have a graphic for this. If you want it, I can text it over to you, but like I have it more on my phone than in here, which is that what you want to do is if you're doing Meetup, you must message them. Hi, I have a text replacement set up in my phone. And I'll say, it literally is just like, it'll just, and then I pop their name in. You cannot copy and paste text in Meetup, pardon me, and the Meetup Messenger. It doesn't allow it anymore. So I have to use text replacement. And it says, hi, Julie. I use one emoji. Hi, Julie, one emoji. It's April Braswell from Toastmasters. I don't say April Braswell from Huntington Beach Rise and Shine Club 179 Toastmasters. They might have joined more than one Toastmasters group. They don't remember. They just remember Toastmasters. Hi, it's April Braswell from Toastmasters. What's your cell phone number and email? And like little thank you hands. April Braswell, something at the end. Not super long. I'm targeting getting their contact information. I'm going to text them. Hopefully they give me their number. If they give me their email, I'm like, oh, thanks. Can I get your cell phone number? And maybe like 1 in 50 people ask me, you're not going to add me to an email list. Oh, no, it's just so I can say hi and welcome you before the meeting. Oh, okay. I text them. People have seen this as well too. They'll get this, their first text message ever from me is always, hi, Amber. It's April Braswell from Toastmasters at Meetup. Did this text come through to you okay? Ask a question in order to get them to respond. Most of them will within some amount of time, and they'll say yes, or they'll give a thumbs up. Great, awesome, something short. Do you have a few minutes to connect? And I use like the little phone emoji. Where's my time? It is 2:30. I'll say, do you time to connect at 3 p.m. or is after work better for you? Choice of two yeses. Oh yeah, after work, and they'll give me a time. Great, I'll phone you then. I want to talk with them for a few minutes on the phone to get them to the meeting and just pre-orient them. I'm not going to do the whole thing of what I say to them. I do let them know. At first I ask them, hi, Julie, it's April. Is this your first time attending Toastmasters? Or are you already a member before? Oh yeah, this is going to be my first time. I don't tell them everything under the sun, the moon, the stars, but I do let them know those 3 things to expect at a meeting. And I do prepared speeches, impromptu speeches, and constructive and supportive evaluations or feedback. And then I do mention, and I talk about the money as an annual investment. It's about $120 a year to be a member, something like that. No one ever minds that prorated, it ends up being less than $120. And I always tell them it's $20 to join first time, and then it's about $120 a year. I mentioned the money early just to plant that seed so that they're aware for later. You might get a few questions. And this is not to be super granular about this, about if someone comes back and they only want to pay for like the 7 months or something like that, like if they join in February or March, of course, we'll always allow them to do that. But I talk the annual money first so that they're joining for a year when they first join, because when we're committed, we're more likely to stay versus someone who's coming in and only pays for 6 months and it becomes the summer and they're kind of busy and then they don't want to renew because they're kind of busy. Once you're already a member, you're more likely to stay a member once you're committed like that. So that's why I talk like that. Create that welcoming environment. We did already touch on this earlier in the day, and I'm sure you've attended some of those the trainings about having a great meeting. You do want the warm, welcoming introduction. Ideally, when you're in person, do assign them a buddy. If your club is out of that habit and you haven't been doing that, what that is that the sergeant of arms is the primary greeter, and they make, oh, David, welcome, and here, and connects you to Donna. Donna, the 2 of you together, he hands Donna the agenda to sit with you and kind of go over the agenda and orient you a little bit with that, sitting next to you at the meeting. Encourage participation. And that means that at table topics is not, you don't have to talk, is Donna, would you like to take another question like the one I just asked Amber and Julie? Or would you just like to tell us a little bit more about yourself, perhaps about your favorite hobby in 60 to 90 seconds? Just give them something comfortable they can talk about so they are participating. Follow up, share useful information. The resource in the folder is Close the Deal. In particular, I think it was past district director David Hosmer who taught me this during the Zoom era, was invite them to join, especially when you're there on Zoom because they can blip in and blip out, was this is the time, invite them to join. It's also subtly, we got invited to prom, we didn't get invited to prom, you got picked for the bombardment team, or you were the last one chosen. We want to feel invited to something, or somewhere inside our little heart feels a little bit of wounding potentially for, I guess they didn't want me. They don't know how to join if we don't invite them. So please, please invite them. Usually it's your club president who's going to do so, but know who's the person who's good at doing that in your club. I heard about this from, she's now, I think, past region advisor, Karen Lucas, who had shared that find out who's good at doing that in your club meeting and let them be the one who does it so that they are invited at the end of the meeting. More ideas. I actually have more things in a moment, which is the word of the week, engaging content. Really, this is more what Julie's going to touch on, but it is in the slide deck, so I have it here just to touch on these things. In particular, the thing at the end there, those social events outside of the club meeting. Have a picnic. We're in Southern California, if you live here physically in person. Holiday parties. There are different holidays all the time. Have some of those extra things outside of the club meeting, after the meeting, before the meeting. That is where, if you're a 15, 20 person club, it may not be all the members who come, but even if it's 5 to 7 of them who attend, that is really where members build those relationships, which cement them to this club. Have a potluck at your visitor event. Try some different dishes so that when we share food, it creates more of the relationship and connection with this particular club. People love sharing food. Okay, time to get to work and take action. I already touched on this, that all the clubs need to add 8+ new members because of the annual attrition. Open house, plan a month in advance and promote. Identify weak clubs. This is more for folks who are the area directors, or if you've got more than one club, they might need some extra TLC and encouragement and support. And then we're aiming to do this. It's probably what's going to happen more likely in the first week in March. A phone a friend. Be aware within your club. This is not something just for the club officers to do and have them phone 15 people. Was Amber knows 2 or 3 people in her club who used to be a member and they haven't been by for a while. And Donna, she's friends with 2 others. You're going to phone your 2 or 3 friends. So it's different people, not just the officers and not just the district people who they hear from and saying, hi, oh my gosh, it's been a while. How are you? We're having this special the club anniversary event. It will be so much fun. I miss you. It will be so much fun if you could come to the anniversary celebration and join the fun that day so that it's a friend who's inviting you. Okay, this is one of my things for the in-person clubs. Use effective building signage. We've gotten out of the habit of this. A lot of the clubs who used to meet in person, and because we had all these things are put away, they're in storage, they may be rotted, they had mildew, and we didn't replace them. I mean, and this also can take a while to build up having this many signs. You want multiple signs for your club meeting. Street sign. I'm going to be specific. So, Divine Light Toastmasters, they meet and they're one of my case studies. They meet kind of off the driveway, and if they only have the sign outside of their club building, all of those commuters who drive by the street and they're right by freeway entrance, they never see the sign. It would be fantastic if they could. I'm just using this example. If they could have that Toastmasters meeting tonight, or Toastmasters meeting Wednesday night. I don't know if this is their time anymore. 6:30 p.m. All welcome. And people are driving by. They've seen it 3 or 4 times driving by that week. First time, there's a, you're driving by, whoo, there's a Toastmaster club. Second time they see it, oh, it's Wednesday. Third or fourth time they see it, oh, wait, that's tomorrow night at 6:30. I could go to that. You need those signs up there repeatedly so that people see that. And then also at the driveway of the venue was Achievers. They have this really well. They're right by a drive-through Starbucks. So they put their outdoor sign. I'm like, put it close to the Starbucks, because all those people who do the drive-through, they turn right, they turn left to see if they can drive out safely. Huh? Toastmasters Club? Again, each time that sign is there, it's not that, oh my God, we put the sign out and we didn't get visitors today. It's one of your tools for visibility. And then also, it sounds so obvious to say it, but we're used to going to our club meeting. Remember the first time you went? And people see I'm a double extrovert, so you never think I'm shy. I was too. Am I in the right place? Is this the right one? Put it on the door. Put it on the inside the glass window right outside where your club meets, so people know for sure if I'm knocking on this door, I'm opening this door, I'm going into the right place. Pro tip is post some of the signs that are the street signs during the day to serve as an additional marketing for your club when you can. Okay, we get more specific. Excuse me. I've got 2 case studies for 2 specific clubs, Divine Light Toastmasters. And I'm not sure that this is exactly how they meet currently, but this has been how they have met. This is a club who meets weekly, and they are a variation of hybrid. Their hybrid is, I believe it's once or twice a month. They meet only on Zoom, and the rest of the times they're physically in person. And I'm just sharing 5 ideas for them, just to be specific. Their VPPR, bring and print out copies of the Join Us Toastmasters branded flyer. It's really specific in the chat. It's in the folder, and I cite the direct link to just it, where you're going to fill in where the club meets and 1, maybe 2 people's contact names, ideally their cell phone number, maybe an email. Print those out, bring them to the meeting. That same flyer or the visitor event flyer, print 50 of them, 2 or 3 per member. Target building neighbors nearby during the workday. They are right by, there's a very specific professional building right near them. Go to every single one, knock on the door. Hi, you're invited. And then there are also a handful not too far from there. You're not going to do this all in one day. You're going to do this over a series of weeks of where go knock on those doors, just introduce, hi, we meet over here on Wednesday night, you're invited. Take the flyer, see if nearby restaurant coffee places will put up the flyer. There's a place called Badass Hawaiian Coffee. That's why it says badass. It's not that I'm being crass. That is the name of the coffee brand. They are right around the corner. There's also this little shopping center which has this wonderful Indian restaurant, handful of little places there. It's right nearby. People who work nearby would see the flyer in the door or the window if they're willing to put it up. And when you do that, you need to go back in about 2 or 3 weeks and have a different flyer to refresh it, because by the time you go back in 2 or 3 weeks, it'll probably be down. And you don't put the same one up again. Hi, we have another event coming up. Is it okay if we put the flyer in the window? Okay, sure. Just ask. And sometimes they'll say no the first time. Go back again anyway, because you're building the relationship. And especially if you're going into a restaurant or a place, buy a cup of coffee while you're there. Have your members, if they say, like if Badass Coffee says yes, let your members know to get their coffee there. And when they go in before the meeting, hi, we're the Toastmasters Club around the corner. Thanks so much for putting the flyer up here. Can I get a drip of coffee to go? Thank you. Let them see, oh, they're good neighbors. Take the flyer and visit. This is really specific for Divine Light. Their small healthcare professional offices nearby. Chit chat. You're not going in and saying, your employees need Toastmasters. It's, hi, we're Toastmasters Club around the corner. Amber, thank you for laughing. You're invited. any of your members any of your employees would be interested, do you want more than one flyer? Do you think your employees would want this? Oh no, one flyer is sufficient. Okay, great. Thanks so much. The first time you go in, you're just a light chit chat. You're going again in 2 or 3 weeks. They were a stranger before. Now you've got to know them. Oh, hi, Donna. It's so good seeing you again. Try to remember their name or write it down for afterwards. How is it going? Ask them something about themselves, just light chit chat. And by the third time that you're going, Donna might be saying, "Oh, my girlfriend April, she'd be interested. Can I get a second flyer? I'll give it to her." You're building a relationship when you go into those neighboring buildings. It's not a one shot. We tried one time and no one came. We're going there repeatedly, but about 3 weeks or so is the shortest iteration you want in between the visits so they don't feel nagged. You're building a relationship. Doing this increases your visibility. And then the things that you're getting from Julie, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I saw that article over at LinkedIn. Oh, I guess Toastmasters might be really good for me. The two together is what helps you to attract and magnetize new members and visitors to you. Yep, I jumped. Second example, where are we on time?
We're still good. We've
But
got about 30 minutes.
thank you. I was like, good, but how long do I have? Thank you. It's like, I can keep talking. So I tried to be specific by doing the case studies because otherwise it's like, this all sounds great. How do I put this together for my club? I know your club is going to be different. Extrapolate where you can. This is one. So NAPOC stands for, it's a mouthful, North American Asian American Professionals, Orange County. This used to be an association that was very active. That's where the club got its name. It's how it started. That association hardly even meets now post-pandemic. It is still their identity, and they revisit that periodically. They're keeping it for now. Of course, as a Toastmasters club, it is open to all. However, it is still something where they want to make sure that they're appealing to Asian American professionals. They're a hybrid club. What kind of hybrid? They meet once a month in person and then once a month on Zoom because a number of their members over the pandemic, they're nearby, but they're slightly outside of Orange County. It is no longer convenient for them quite yet to meet exclusively their 2 times a month in person. They kind of like that, but once a member is a member, they're precious and they want to make sure that they're keeping their members. So that is how they do hybrid. And I'm saying this, I said this before, which is do this repeatedly. People need to be invited 2 to 10 times in order to actually visit. Just because they don't visit after the first invitation doesn't make it a failure. Know your target ideal prospect. For them, it's Asian American professionals. Plus, local to Orange County is their ideal. And they've had some folks, it's too funny. One of their folks, and I've been cultivating him for being an area director. He's just moved just outside of Orange County, but he still works in Orange County, so still very appropriate for them. So that's why I say Orange County, but greater Orange County was, so number one, Google research for Asian American Professional Association and community college student groups. These are going to be two different searches. You're just first identifying them. So Asian American Professional Associations. I know there are some. I've done this Google search for them. And it's still, so like I was their division director. If you're an area director, you might do this for one of your clubs and do a little more hand holding to help them implement this. However, because I'm that person, was if I do it all for them, they might get a few new members, but then they're not self-sustaining. So I am coming along. Julie's nodding and Amber's nodding. I checked with a couple of members about this do you feel comfortable doing this? Yes. And I checked back. How is it going? Have you implemented it yet? No. Okay, then I might follow up and either do a Zoom with them or when I visit next time in person, schedule 15 minutes to go do the next step, not 5 things, just the gap between the search and the next step alongside them. Not everything for them, just that next bit so that they're growing their leadership. So what do I do once I've identified, let's say there's the professional association. Be a little bit careful. It's not to have you go join 5 professional associations and start attending their mixers and paying for all that. It's reach out. David's smiling because we know how this can happen. They want new members too. If they're a professional association, a lot of them have as part of their membership contract an obligation to provide education to members. Reach out to the president, reach out to some of their, whatever their board directors are, reach out to all of them, try to send an individual email to each of them, not just blanket the 5 of them, and do Dear David, Dear Julie for each of those emails, and ask them who in your board, whose purview is it? I love that word, purview. Whose responsibility is it to fulfill the educational obligation you have to your members? Oh, we have that. Oh, do we have that? Yes, we do. Oh, we have that. And they may not even quite realize it anymore. Connect with that person and invite each of them individually. We'd love to have you visit, and we invite your members to visit our club. This helps you provide that to your members. Similarly with the community colleges, they are very seasonal and cyclicity that way. Do not do this, I know we're February, but do not do this September 1st. You want to do it after the new semester has started, a couple of weeks in, because they're all too busy right away. Identify when you find, let's say you find 5 community college student groups. You're going to identify who the student person is, but that person may not even be the person anymore. Who's the advisor professor? That's the one who's going to be your perennial, and they're also still going to be there. So even if they're no longer the advisor, they'll still probably know who is the current advisor and be able to connect you to who that is. Connect with the professors, because any of them might be recommending this to their students. And even though it's an Asian American specific club, it is not exclusive that way. I'm white and I have Western European, Scots, Irish heritage, plus a few others. I've been a member there. It's perfectly fine. You'll see that in the membership when you attend, and it's still very encouraging, specifically for Asian American professionals, so that any college professor could still direct their students there. Stay in touch with them. That's another one where you could, when you have those visitor events, and we have a special theme for every single one of our meetings. Do not email David as the college professor every single week. Send him an email maybe once every 5 to 6 weeks with the theme. Oh, we're having a special theme meeting next week. We're having a St. Patrick's Day meeting. Oh, we are celebrating women's leadership with International Women's Month in March. Please invite all of your students to attend. Do that kind of, once you've identified this, stay in touch in order to have those results later. It's not always at the first iteration. The VPPR, I already mentioned that. For the same thing for bringing the flyers, the same thing around the same flyer and visitor event flyer, print multiple copies. For them, with their meeting at a restaurant, is most of the businesses who are nearby, it's Saturday afternoon. They're closed. You want a member who lives nearby to have those extra copies in their car, and they go by during the week and connect with the different businesses. I happen to know, I can say this because I'm sober, there's an AA friendship club near there. Well, one son's been sober for a year or so. We're kind of chatty. We might be interested in a Toastmasters club to continue our personal growth. So you can't put it up in the friendship club, but feel free to like hang out nearby in front and chit chat with the people who are having coffee out front and just invite them. We have to be careful about putting flyers on people's cars. I do not know the regulations in each city. It can be construed or interpreted as littering. So you might do it once with just a few cars, not all 50 in the whole parking lot, just a few, so that no one's going to report that it was an abuse. You might do that with a few. take the flyer and see if, and same thing I mentioned, I'm sorry, I put the Badass Coffee. This is not the same for them, but there are other coffee places near them. The restaurant where they are, we don't have this yet. They haven't done it. This is one where I don't have one here, but we're gonna have to pretend that this is a plexiglass sign holder. The one where it leans slightly that way and has the base where you can stick a flyer in there. They have a little section there. Another thing did this, and so I know they'll do it, was we could put one there and ask them, would it be okay if we place this here where they're monthly, we can refresh it. Just know that when you do this with some of the restaurants, if you have that kind of relationship, you might lose that plexiglass holder. That also might go away. And they're not free. They're about $5 to $7. And just know, okay, we might need to buy a new one once a quarter if we do that. And I apologize that it's the same phrasing there at the bottom for them. It's really is actually, it is applicable for them as well too, because guess what? On the other side of Miles Square Park, there's a hospital and there are professional healthcare professional buildings there too. Go within a few blocks of the radius of where you meet physically. Identify who's nearby and then target them by doing a little of the advanced reconnaissance where you know what's there. You can prepare yourself a little bit for what am I going to say to them. But the first time you go, you're just saying hi. You're just connecting and introducing them to that there's a Toastmasters club nearby. You do not have to be polished on, I know what to say to healthcare professionals, because it's not that specific yet. You're just connecting and introducing them to this. I apologize, I didn't update that part. And then it is there from Dr. Ralph Smedley. This is why we invite people to visit Toastmasters. Let us share the benefits we have gained for ourselves with others. And I chartered a new club this year. One of the newer members, and I can be specific, this is someone who has, he knows this, a lot of filler words. He loves Toastmasters. He has grown and blossomed already. Within just a few months of meeting, he sent me an email. April, I have this joy of Toastmasters now, and thanked me for it as if I am all of Toastmasters. And I did it correctly. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're enjoying all this. I'm just an intermediary to share this with you. That is what it's like when you bring in brand new members. Those of us who've been around for a few years, we forget that fresh joy of the newness of it for someone who's brand new, for them to experience Toastmasters. That can really be our impetus for why we do this. I'm going to stop sharing. Let me just get back to here. My contact information, half of you already have this, was you're welcome to reach out to me afterwards. It is in the PDF, which is in the folder. And then I'm going to stop sharing so that I can answer questions. You will have heard in general, I'm a big advocate of use a flyer, use a tool to invite people. I don't have to be brilliant. I don't have to be fantastic at my invitation for someone who's in a nearby building when I give them a flyer. It does it for me. And then someone who they could barely get the words out, the flyer does it for them. And then after they do it and then find out, oh my God, someone actually came who I invited, that person, where'd you come from? Oh, I saw the flyer at the Starbucks around the corner. You did? Because that's the one that you put up. And then you realize that you got them there. And that encourages your members to keep doing this. Questions? I will stop talking. Oh, Kendra Shaw is now attending. What questions do you have for me? And then David, were you able to, bless your heart, you made it a Word document. Thank you.
Yes. Now you mentioned you might have had some other things though
I
that
do. I have
weren't
two more.
included in that email, so you might want to add those.
Yes. So if you want more scripts on this, we've already had, let me make sure this, here we go, need scripts. This, we've already had 2 workshops specifically on inviting. Please know, in neither of these recordings, they are unlisted. I'll make sure they're unlisted and not private. They might be private right now, but I'll make sure they're unlisted before the end of the day. These are uploaded to YouTube, unlisted. So if you have the link, you can view it. They are not tidied up. They're not edited at the neat and tidy at the end of the beginning. They're raw for the footage from both of the trainings. And I led one, and so did Greg Scott. And so you'll get just some helpful scenarios and mini scripts from each of us. And then I'm not putting people on the spot to put you on the spot. Was Donna, Darlene, you are 2 people I don't know as well. Did you have any particular questions? Do you feel comfortable with any of this? And is there anything where you're like, oh, my members will never do this part? Is there any tip, anything where we can help?
I don't really have any questions, but you've given me some good resources. And by having a themed meeting using a flyer. So I don't have any questions right now, but thank you for the presentation.
You're very welcome. And then once you're, 'cause this is normal. It's like coaching and accountability. Once you start doing it, here's where here's where we're stuck. Here's where we've tried doing this and we're not quite it's not quite happening. Feel free to reach out to me in a few weeks. I'm happy to assist. And then do know there's the weekly club growth roundtable on Tuesday nights at 5:45. It's in the Word document. The link for registration was it's not a chit chat meeting. It's an action step meeting. So if you're coming, I'm like, okay, we're stuck here. We need a little help just for 5 minutes. You're welcome to hop in and hop out. You don't have to stay for the whole thing when you want some assistance around that for bringing in new members. So if you're stuck somewhere in a few weeks, feel free to either attend that. If that doesn't work for you, feel free to text me, email me. Text is often better. Even if you send me an email, text me to let me know you sent me an email so I can look for it specifically, and I'm happy to.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I tried putting some things around. Canva's there, everything's there. The Let the World Know. I love this resource. And I did say, because some people commented after one of the last times I shared it was that they wanted the up-to-date one. I said it's an older version. The older version just had more content in it. That's why I shared it. And if you want the more current version, just Google for it. But if you feel stuck sometimes at your club officer meeting, oh my God, it's just not happening, or we need some new ideas. All of our meetings are the same thing. It's great just to look at together with your fellow officers and get some ideas. And there is one about doing debates. Just avoid religion and politics, especially right now. I joke about, everyone's nodding, welcome to the United States. Everyone has an opinion. And they're all if there are 20 members in your club, you have 100 different opinions because we all have multiple opinions. Was team dog, which is a better pet? Team dog, team cat. Tune in Tuesday at 7 p.m. for the debate. Was have fun with what the debate is. And then Darlene, do you feel comfortable with these? Kendra, thank you.
You did say that this will be emailed, the
No,
links?
no. They're there
Oh.
in the chat.
Yeah, I couldn't keep up with them.
Are you able to, David, can you put it in again? The
Yeah,
document?
Darlene, I just put the very last document that I put in. If you just download that, it's got
Okay.
all of the links and everything in it. And you may have to do control click in the Word document, but the links will work. They are active from that. So you should have
Okay,
everything.
thank you.
And feel free to try that right now if you were able to access it. Thank you.
Yeah, and I looked in the folder that April has shared on Google Drive, and there is a plethora of resources and information there. You can spend the rest of the day looking through that.
And that's what it's meant to be, because I tried to be specific for, okay, here's how to start. But when you're like, okay, I'm doing the same things all the time, was you need something different. And there are a few of them where some of the resources where like one is like 17 ideas, another one's 100 ideas. Some of the things are a little out of date. I understand that. Ignore that one. Jump to the next one or extrapolate it for how is that applicable for how our culture is currently. And then where are we for time? What time are we ending at? Is it 2:45?
We're at 2:36, and yeah, we can wrap up at 2:40. We have to
Awesome.
hard drop at 2:45.
Donna, Darlene. So Donna, please remind me what your club is. Is it community club? What day does it meet? What time block? And our hybrid in person? We'll do like a mini help.
Okay, let's see. We meet at the San Clemente outlets, and we
Hmm.
on the first and third Tuesday at 7. And our Zoom meetings are on Tuesday at 7, the second and fourth Tuesdays we start at 7 o'clock.
That is one where, because it just depends because you're in a mall versus, so like more of their places are part of a chain. So it's harder to get permission for a chain to put flyers up. Walk around informally with each of you only having like 5 flyers visible and just chit chat people in the food court or whatever's the equivalent there. And Starbucks is one of my favorites because look for the food places with a line.
That's a
Lines are
great
great.
idea. Let's see. We meet in the visitor center at the outlet, so we can put flyers up there.
Yes, but
But
you
I
want
don't,
like the outlets, you want to get out to where the people are.
yeah, I don't think we have put flyers up there for people to take, but and the stores, like you said, won't allow us to
Right.
post any
So
flyers.
walk
But
around and just break the ice with people. So it's like if you meet at 7, go on another day or go at lunchtime. I'm just making this up. Go at lunchtime on that same day, but earlier in the day and just walk around, chit chat with people. Oh, did you know there's a Toastmasters Club around the corner? We meet tonight. A little bit. And the food court is often one of the easier places to do that. Look for the food places where there's a line and get in the line, buy something, was chit chat with the people in front of you and behind you. Oh, we meet around the corner. Because then it's normal. Oh, yeah, I have a flyer with me. Then it's okay, and it won't go against any of their policies. The thing about the chain stores is that like corporate is the one who has to approve it. The mall, so long as you're not really abusing it, was their security is not going to come down on you when you're just chit-chatting with people and handing the flyer out to a few people. Does that help?
it does. Thanks.
Darlene, please tell me about your club, ma'am.
Well, let's see, I have one hybrid and 2 online.
Tell me about the hybrid. What day, where a little bit, and are you Founders District Club?
That one is
I just I often know them. So which club is it?
second stage.
Oh, that's virtual only, isn't it?
It's where Dave is. He was one of his clubs.
Okay.
And
Which was the one that's
Mary's.
hybrid?
Uh-huh.
We are hybrid. Second stage meets on first, third, and
Where
fifth
does it meet in
Saturday.
person?
We're currently meeting at the Water District Community Room.
Okay. I don't know the surrounding area. What I was saying before about, and I know some of these places are, or hard stop is in 3 minutes, was I just looked at the time. I was like, wait, I see red. Like, time to close up. Was sometimes if you're a little more of a warehouse area, is that what it's like there, or are there buildings, or not building, pardon me, are there businesses right nearby where you can see the storefront, or is it more larger office space with only a few businesses?
It's pretty kind of, yeah, like businesses in that area. I haven't actually
Warehouse.
looked around too much
Okay.
there, and
And
I
then
know the
second
water
stage,
district takes up a big part of it.
in second stage, you're an advanced club, but
That's the other
be
thing. We're
really
kind of,
strict about like, I mean, but you would still take visitors. It's like
we
someone's
do,
really great, like
yes.
good join. You could either you can join or we'll guide you to another club. But sometimes we're in advanced clubs, like we'll still take someone who's newer but fairly competent because
We
they'll
do.
still be appropriate for them, but not when they're like, you'll know. So visit, go there during the work week with flyers and just connect with the
Mhm.
businesses. I know a lot of them, it's weird these days of where almost there is no one there at the front door at reception, but you'll find out. And then another thing from Google is zoom in and scroll for where the coffee place is, because that's where people go during the day. And if you happen, I mean, and if you do actually get someone there and you don't work near there yourselves, was ask the reception people, where do people go nearby to grab their lunch? Oh, they go over here. Write that down, make note, keep track of that for future club officers, and go walk over there and visit with flyers. One of the other, this is yellow, so this is perfect. Sometimes I like to print out the black and white flyer. It's cheaper. Was on colored paper so that when I leave them there at the information area or something like that, it's a little more eye-catching and affordable.